Okay, so I've spoken a bit about ratios so far, but how do we actually find a ratio? This can be a bit tricky because we're going to use a method called comparing the scalars. And by the end of this video, you should be able to find a ratio between vectors using this method. Let's start with this one. So OABC is a parallelogram. We're told OA is A, OC is C. X is a midpoint on the line AC. So here, we'll call it X right there. OCD is a straight line such that OC to CD is in the ratio K to 1. So if I put D here, right, this is going to be D. So we're told that vector XD, so X to D, I'm just going to call this X here, there we go, is a vector 3C plus a half A minus. And we need to work out what K is, because that's the point. We're trying to work out the ratios. Okay, not a problem. So the start is the same as it's always been. We need to work out something. Well, what we can do is work out what O to B is equal to, isn't it? Right? OB is equal to O to A plus A to B, which is the same as A plus C. Remember, it's a parallelogram, so this will also be C, and this will be A. And likewise, we need to do the same for AC. So AC is equal to A to O plus O to C, which is equal to minus A plus C. Alright? This is the part where it gets tricky. We need to find a way of using this lambda C, but we also need a way of finding a vector which actually has a scalar that we do know. I'll give you an example. OX is just the same as a half OB, right? Because if X is a midpoint of AC, it has to be a midpoint of OB because it's a parallelogram, right? So that's just equal to a half times A plus C, okay? But if we were to find O to X the old-fashioned way, so it's the same as OC plus CD plus D to X, right? We're left with C plus lambda C minus 3C minus a half A. Sorry, that's meant to be in brackets. And then we're left with an answer of minus 2C plus lambda C plus a half A. So we have two different answers for OX, right? So then we can equate them. I'll do this up here, right? We can say that a half A plus C is equal to minus 2C plus lambda C plus a half A, right? And so what we're left with is a half A plus a half C is equal to, and I'm going to factorize this part out to make C on its own, minus 2 plus lambda C plus a half A. And now we can compare the coefficients. Because this half is the same, we know we're correct, because obviously a half A is indeed equal to a half A. And so therefore, a half C is equal to minus 2 plus lambda c. And then, of course, the c's will cancel out, so we can get rid of those. And so if we make lambda the subject, lambda is going to be equal to 2.5. Right? So now we know that CD is 2.5 lambda, or 2.5c, excuse me. So therefore, OC to CD is in the ratio 2.5 to 1. And that is your final answer. What about something like this? So for this one, we're told OMA and ONB are all straight lines. We're told that OA is 6A. We're told that OB is 6B. And we're told ON is lambda B. Oh, sorry, not lambda, KB. By the way, for lambda, you can use any unknown you want. I just choose lambda because in physics, lambda is used to work out vectors. And it's the same in further maths. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Anyways, we're told that this is a straight line. So now what is k going to be equal to? Well, the first thing we need to do is probably work out what AB is. So A to B is going to be minus 6A plus 6B. Okay, because we're going from A to O and O to B. Now what we need to do is work out what M to N is, don't we? Because we need to know what this line is. M to N is just going to be minus 3A, because remember this is a midpoint, plus KB. All right? Now, if this is a midpoint, right? So if this is, what did we say? Minus 6A plus 6B. B is a midpoint, so this is also minus 6A plus 6B. And now we need to work out what M to C is. MC is just going to be equal to 3A minus, no, 8 plus. And then what we've got minus 12A plus 12B, which is equal to minus 9A plus 12B. Now, because, and this is the important part, because this is a straight line, right, we can say that M to N is equal to lambda times N to C, okay? This is a scalar that we're looking for, and then this is our line. So I'll show you what I mean. We can rewrite, what did we say Mn was? Mn is minus 3A plus KB, right? And that's equal to lambda times minus 9A plus 12B. You can do lambda on either one. It all works the exact same. And you'll see why in a second. We'll then expand the bracket, so we're left with minus 9 lambda A is plus 12 lambda B. And then once again, we can compare the coefficients. So minus 3a is equal to minus 9 lambda a. And if we look on the other one, kb is equal to 12 lambda b. Okay? So now we can solve these equations simultaneously. Okay? But we don't even need to do that, because we can see that on the top equation, we can just make lambda the subject by dividing both sides by a, first and foremost. So we're left with minus 3 is equal to minus 9 lambda. And then let's divide by 9, minus 9. And so we're left with is lambda is equal to a third. We can then substitute this third into here, and we can get rid of the b's. It's just not necessary. We're left with k is equal to 12 times a third, which is just equal to 4. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video made sense. If you guys liked it, please consider subscribing, as it helps out the channel a lot. If you guys have any burning questions that you need to ask, join my Discord server and we can answer it in as much detail as possible. If you guys want to get tutored so you don't fail your exams, please drop me an email and we can organize a free meeting and a quote. Keep on learning, as you have no idea what you're capable of doing.